So welcome back to Rich with Cars. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check out some of the other content on the channel. But once again, we have our good friend Joseph. Thank you very much for allowing me to interview you and letting me drive this car. You just got it actually, so congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. It's always fun, sharing your cars with your friends, and always glad to see you, of course.
So guys, if you're living under a rock and you don't know what this is here in front of us, Joseph just ended up getting a gorgeous 2018 AMG GT R. This is an absolute monster. It's my first time that I got to drive it when just right before filming this, and it's actually one of my favorite cars out there. I actually prefer this over the current generation AMG GT series for multiple reasons, just because of the fact that it feels so much more raw. As always, guys, I'm gonna be interviewing our good friend Joseph on his ownership experience with this, comparing it to his other toys that we have here behind us. And you might be noticing something as well, is the fact that the LC500 is not here anymore. So he ended up trading in the LC for this, which I don't think is a bad trade in my opinion. It's a completely different drive though. I can tell you, just because I just finished driving this and it feels absolutely different. I wouldn't say better, it just depends on what you're looking for. So guys, let's strap in, take a look, let's listen in on what Joseph got to tell us. So welcome back, guys. So let's get started right off with the first question right here. Joseph, what made you decide to add the 2018 Mercedes-AMG GT R to your collection, and how has it lived up to your expectations so far?
Yeah, but I've always been a big AMG fan as well. They're good at making cars fun, and there's always that German characteristic of being kind of raw and great sounding cars that are fun to drive. Not always the smoothest or the fastest, but you always have fun when you're driving the car.
I can definitely attest to that, because like I mentioned before, I just finished driving this and I was actually blown away in terms of the experience of driving this car. Like you said, it might not be as fast as some other cars. In fact, I don't even think it's as fast as your C8, to be honest, but the experience in itself is so raw.
Exactly.
I mean, the exhaust note that comes out of this, stock, OEM, just amazing.
Yeah, makes you feel like a teenager all over again,
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it just makes you laugh all the time, to be honest.
Yeah.
How does the AMG GTR though compare to the Lexus LC500 in terms of driving dynamics and overall presence?
Yeah, like you said, one's not really better than the other. It's just a completely different style of vehicle. I mean, the LC was my dream car, ever since 2012, 2013 when they released the drawings of it, and I loved that car. But I've been going to the track a whole lot more, so I was looking for something more on the driving dynamic side, something faster, handles better, and more power. So, and the LC, it's good up to a certain point, but not a whole lot I can do to make it an actual track race car.
So I know that you got this this AMG GTR. It's a 2018, and I think it was either 2020 or 2021 when they updated the infotainment system and some other stuff. Is there a specific reason as to why you decided to go for a 2018 as opposed to something a little bit newer?
Yeah, they did update the infotainment system and the interior in 2020, but also the EU regulations went into effect in 2020.
Yeah.
So the exhaust sound completely changed in 2020, and it's a lot quieter. So I wanted something that's more visceral and give you a more cohesive driving experience.
Yep.
So I decided to go with a 2018 with the louder exhaust system and the old school dials that I like. And it's cheaper too, so that came into effect.
Definitely makes sense, and I can tell you, at least from my driving experience with this, very loud and nice.
I figure if I buy a 2020, I would have to spend like $5,000 or more to get it to sound the way I want it to.
Yeah.
And for me, being for fun, this seems to make more sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's even like very minor differences on the outside, I think, between
Yeah.
this and a 2021 or 2020 when they updated it. So, no, job well done. Job well done. Now, when it comes to daily usability, how does the AMG GTR stack up against the NSX, the Corvette C8, and the LC500?
Yeah, this one is a hatchback, so it has a pretty big trunk. When you open it up, you can fit quite a bit in there. The NSX is probably the lowest on that list. It has a tiny little trunk that fits 2 backpacks. And then the Corvette, it's got the most spacious trunk by far, fitting 2 gold bags, and then a front to fit everything else.
Yep.
The LC, it's gorgeous and it's big, but it's got a tiny little trunk too. It's super flat, so you can't fit a lot. But then you do have the back seats, so
That's true. Yeah, I mean, when I did actually open the trunk on your GTR just earlier today, I did notice that the trunk is considerably larger than the LC500. I know LC500 because I've done so many reviews on it. It's 5.4 cubic feet.
Okay.
Not sure what this is. I'll probably put it up on the screen for you guys just to make sure. But definitely larger than it was on the LC500. And it's a little bit disappointing, frankly speaking, because the LC500 is supposed to be a GT car, a Grand Tour, right?
Yeah, I don't think I fit even a carry-on suitcase in there because of the height.
I've managed to actually fit in a couple of them, but still,
it's
in
tight.
terms of height, it's pretty tight. The other thing that you did mention that this doesn't have is the back seats.
Man.
So you can put some duffel bags or something that won't damage the leather, let's just say, right?
So now I have to pick either my wife or my daughter. I can't carry them both, but we all have to make sacrifices.
I guess so. Yeah, that's right. Now between the AMG GTR, the NSX, and the Corvette C8, which car feels more connected to the road and why?
Yeah, that's a hard one. Because something that is more responsive might not be the most capable.
Right.
Yeah, so this is super stiff, so I have high hopes for it, for its track capabilities. They're gonna be able to give me some good lap times, but I'm not certain yet. The Corvette is definitely very, very capable. It doesn't give you the most feedback, but it has a ton of grip and super easy to drive. The NSX, you get a lot more feedback, but I think maybe tire choices or something. I feel like the Corvette is more capable on the track, giving me more grip and quicker corner speeds.
I cannot comment on any of the experiences that I've had with any of these cars on the track, but I can tell you that the GTR, at least for me, felt a little bit more connected. It gives you more feedback from the road. In terms of capability, I don't know how, because I didn't drive it fast, how capable it is compared to the other two. But I know that the other two, I mean, especially the NSX, right off the line, it's fast as hell. It is all-wheel drive at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, so it's awesome coming out of the corners, but I feel like kind of mid-corner, the Corvette kind of has the edge.
Okay.
More stability, more grip, it seems.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Which of the cars between the AMG GTR, Corvette C8, the Z51, LC500, or the Acura NSX, do you think gets the most attention or compliments on the road?
Because of the stickers, the Corvette is the one that gets the most looks.
Really?
Yeah, people love the livery.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've told you this many times. I love what you did with the livery,
Yeah.
100%.
And now I especially love it when kids, you get the reaction from kids that see the car.
Yeah.
It's always fun seeing the next generation and their expressions.
Wow, dude, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Really?
By far, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't had this for long. It's about a week or so
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah, a couple of weeks, yeah.
I would think that this grabs quite a bit of attention.
I don't know yet. But I think from car enthusiasts, people get the most appreciation out of the NSX.
Right.
Because it is something more rare, you don't see very often, and some of the general public don't even know what it is.
That's true.
So kind of depends on which crowd too.
No comments on the LC? Nothing?
That's for the older crowd. It seems.
I guess I'm an old geezer, guys. I guess I'm an old geezer.
It's a different type of appreciation. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful car. So.
No, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
if that's what it is, that's what it is. Especially, I don't blame you, especially when it comes to what you've done with the car with the livery, and you've also added some ground effects to that too.
Yeah, just to make it look a little sharper and sportier, kind of to complete that look.
Yeah, I mean, I think we spoke about that in the last interview.
Yeah.
You basically emulated the C8R, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And I think you did a phenomenal job. And correct me if I'm wrong, you did it yourself.
Yeah, I'm a cheap ass. So
No,
things that
not at all. You did a great job, man.
things that I can do myself, I do myself. And plus, there are little details that I want in certain ways, and I figure it's easier to just do it myself than trying to convey it to somebody else and have them trying to read my mind.
No, for sure, dude. And I think you did a phenomenal job,
Thank you.
especially doing it yourself. So, was there anything about the LC500 that you miss now, now that you've traded it in for the GTR?
Yeah, absolutely. That drive down to Miami to pick up this car was amazing. Just so comfortable, so smooth, and sounded so great. I'm super glad I had a chance to kind of give it one last ride, before picking up this car. But as a tourer and a cruiser, the LC is hard to beat.
So I guess you were able to compare the drive down with the LC and the drive up with the GTR.
Yeah, exactly.
Was there a considerable difference in terms of comfort, let's just say?
Oh, yeah. It's night and day. Yeah.
Okay.
This one is super stiff, so bouncy, and a lot more road noise.
Okay.
Yeah, what the LC is a super smooth cruise.
And you also modified your LC in terms of the exhaust, right?
Yeah, I had the muffler delete on there.
Right.
Yeah, so
And it still was like bearable.
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
When you're at cruising speeds, it wasn't that loud, so it was still okay for me.
So how would you rank the four cars? Because the LC is not here with us anymore. But let's say the four cars being the GTR, the C8, the NSX, and the LC500 in terms of comfort during longer drives.
Yeah, the LC definitely has that by lengths. It's so
Right.
comfortable, the seats, the materials, the isolation, and everything. It was just comfortable.
Makes sense.
Yeah, next to that, it'd probably be the NSX actually, because I drove that cross country.
More than the C8?
Yeah, the C8, the seats got a little hard, so
Okay.
I just went to Austin for a track day at Coda.
Yeah.
So I drove it 1,100 miles, and it's not quite as comfortable as an NSX. Still bearable.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I did find the NX more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I would assume after the NSX will
Yeah,
be the
the
C8,
C8, yeah.
and then finally
And
the
then,
GTR.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this one I don't think I want to drive it for any more than that like a Miami trip. I definitely won't be driving it cross country. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
No, I mean I can understand that.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before in one of my previous questions, this is the car out of all these that definitely feels more connected and gives you more feedback. So, as in turn, I guess it also becomes a little bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, interesting. I'm very surprised about the NSX versus C8 in terms of how you rank those.
Yeah,
but-
it did 3,000 miles in it, and I really couldn't ask for more from a car like that.
It is a Honda at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's kind of the double-edged sword. It is like a Honda.
Yeah.
But then you're wanting to buy like a supercar. So I think that's what part of the struggles is for that car, is that when you're driving it normally, it feels like Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true, man. That's true. Now, on the flip side,
Yeah.
in terms of raw performance and excitement behind the wheel, which of these cars would you say delivers the best thrill?
Yeah, you were in the car. Definitely this one,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
sit in it and it's all, shits and giggles.
And you don't even have to drive it that fast to get
exactly. AMG, they've always done a good job with their, the driving experience.
that. Yeah.
It might not be the fastest around a track for some of them, but you have fun. My first AMG was a GLA 45, hatchback, and that's what got me hooked into driving hatchbacks. It was so much fun.
GLA
Yeah.
45 is solid, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was surprised at how well it took the turns and how fast it was.
Yeah.
And with the transmission, it shifted quickly too. So it just, a lot of driving excitement. Yeah, well, they definitely aced it on the AMGs.
You did mention before that this has rear wheel steer.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't take it that fast. I didn't really feel it that much, to be honest, which is good.
yeah,
Because when you're asking for some type of feedback, performance, you don't want to have that sort of fake feeling during a turn.
yeah.
So
Yeah, they did a great job with the steering. I think you drove it too. It's fairly heavy,
it is heavy.
which gave it a really sporty feel.
It does.
And I think that helps to hide the rear wheel steer.
Yeah.
Because I had the rear wheel steering on my LC500, and it made the steering really light, and I kind of didn't care for it.
Yeah, I mean, I have rear wheel steer on mine. It comes with a performance pack. I would have to disagree with you on that. I don't feel a sort of weird feeling when I drive it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I guess
it didn't feel weird. It was just soft.
yes,
Yeah.
soft, yeah. Yeah.
My first LC didn't have the rear wheel steering.
Uh-huh.
It had a performance package, but not the steering.
Okay.
And that felt it heavier.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've never driven that one,
Yeah.
so I can't really tell you how that feels. But yeah, it does feel soft, and it does give some feedback, but definitely not as much as any of these cars in terms of road feedback.
Yeah.
So, how has the ownership experience been from a maintenance or service standpoint for the GTR compared to the NSX or the C8, or even let's say the LC500?
Yeah.
You probably you've had this for about a week, so I mean, you probably don't know.
Yeah, this car is known for its transmission problems or
Uh-huh.
possible transmission problems.
You've read about it already.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a pretty expensive fix if that happens.
So when it comes to a fix, is it a full transmission replacement, or is it just certain, like you have to replace a flywheel, or what
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
a full replacement.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God, are you
and this
serious?
has a same transmission as a Ferrari 458.
Okay.
Yeah, so the replacement transmission is about 20 grand. Yeah, yeah.
You serious?
Yeah, and apparently on a 458 it's 50. So you're getting at a significant discount for
Yeah.
the same transmission. you know?
Discounts, yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably assume it's well, the fact that it's a transmissions in the rear.
Yeah.
Do you know if it's like from a labor perspective, is it harder to get to? Is there more hours involved?
That part I don't know. I kind of just saw the number and got shocked. But,
Yeah, I don't.
but
blame
then
them.
if you're wanting this level of driving experience, it's part of the cost.
Right.
So,
How has the C8 been so far in your ownership in terms of maintaining? Because you've beaten this car up quite a bit.
yeah, and it was my buddy's previous track car, so it's seen a ton of track miles, and it's
Right.
been very, very reliable. I think he had an issue with a starter that was replaced.
Yeah.
And then I had a couple of toe links that had to be replaced too. But the crazy part is that the extended warranty for the Chevys are super cheap. You get 8 years for like 3 grand.
What?
Yeah, it's a crazy cheap warranty.
Serious?
Yeah.
Well, what's the mileage limit on that?
It's probably like 100, I would assume. something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's the rear toe links, they were $1,300 and covered by warranty.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It seems like you're getting a delivery coming up right now.
All right, more toys for the cars.
It seems like we're getting something for the cars over here. Let the guy come in, and maybe we'll just put a pause or something. But well, it's right here actually, coming right now. So let's see what he's got coming up right here, guys.
It's like Christmas, You can't beat that.
Yeah, when you're at the Joseph residence, it's like Christmas every day over here. Look, he's just got this car, and it looks like he's getting some additional toys for this brand new car. What exactly is this?
Spacers.
Oh, spacers.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've always liked having my wheels flushed.
Yep.
So this will have to hold me over till possibly new wheels one
So
day.
let me ask you a question. I've read in multiple forums that having spacers on a vehicle, and if you track it, it could actually damage the wheel bearings, for example, just because it doesn't have the same setup or engineering.
Yeah, the geometry changes and all that stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm sure it does impact its life. How much, I don't know. But then, every little change you make to the car has some sort of impact.
Effect,
on it.
yes,
If you
that's
get
true.
stickier tires on your car, you wear out the brakes quicker.
That's true.
And if you get an air intake, that affects the, throttle and everything else. So, some people are kind of Nazi. They say, engineers know exactly what they're doing. You shouldn't change a thing. But the reality is they're also faced with other aspects of a car, like budgeting, emissions, and everything else. That things might not be optimal. So I'm all for modifying cars. It's a toy. Have fun with it.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. I was just curious about that.
Yeah. But I've tracked a lot of track miles with spacers, and a lot of songs install them properly, torque them down to the right torque. I've never had issues. So
All good. All good. Last question.
yeah.
If you could only keep one of the 4 cars, I mean, we know that you didn't keep the LC500, but I mean, let's say you had the opportunity to keep it. which one would it be, and what's the reason behind your choice? If it would be between the LC500, AMG GT R, C8, and of course the NSX.
My answer to that would be the next one.
Knowing you, yeah, I believe you 100%.
Cars are not wives. You're allowed to change your mind. So
That's true. I gotta start listening to this guy a little bit more often, because I've had my LC500 now for 7 years. I think it's about time to change.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that note, Joseph, as always, man, it's a sincere pleasure. Thank you very much. Look, I hope you really do enjoy this AMG GTR. I absolutely love it. It's one of my faves. As always, I do hope that you drive it in good health. Enjoy it on the track.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drag you out one of these track days and
100%.
go have a ride in it.
Yes, well, for sure. I definitely have to come join you one time.
And if it's slower than the Corvette Sebring, I might have to sell.
Okay, guys. Well, look, don't forget to subscribe if you found this information useful. Make sure to check out some of the other content on the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, guys. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.